What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 228. My name is
Ooh,
Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, how are you doing, buddy?
dude, I'm doing good. Doing good. Sorry I had to push our show to Tuesday
That's all
instead of
right.
Monday. But our friends, you know Doug and Allie. I think you've met them,
I'm sure I have.
or I know you have it probably probably at my bachelor party.
Yeah.
But they just had their third kid, so they
Oh, Jesus
um
Christ.
yeah,
Okay.
I know. So we went over there to watch their other two kids for a little bit
Okay.
while Allie's parents were on the way. So
Okay.
yeah, so we were kind of like on call, all this week, and yeah, so they're doing good.
Cool. Did they have the baby, or they?
Yes, yep,
Okay. Cool.
have the baby. Yeah,
Everything went smooth.
as far as I know, everything went very smooth.
Sweet. That's good.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, that's no problem. It's all good. Like I had cut the grass yesterday, and I was like, it was so hot, and I knew it was gonna be very hot after the weekend with all the rain and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I was pretty
I
tired,
think
so it worked out.
me and Alicia went to like our neighborhood pool on Saturday and Sunday this week,
Yeah,
and on Saturday, I think everybody in the neighborhood was either cutting their grass or talking about cutting their grass.
yeah,
Like after like it rained all of last week because of the hurricane for everyone who's not on the East Coast.
yep,
Um, and Saturday was really the first day where it didn't rain all day. So everyone
yeah,
like me was itching to get out and actually cut their grass and do some
yeah.
yard
I
work.
I had cut my I cut my yard the week before, and then I cut mom and dad's yard a couple days prior to the hurricane hitting.
Mhm.
And I was gonna cut my yard again, but I was like, nah, I'll just wait, and then it rained and stuff like that, and it got super long. So I was
See,
itching
my
to get out
mistake was
there.
I didn't cut the grass last weekend because we were doing all the closet installation stuff.
Gotcha.
So I was like, "Fuck," and now it's super long and ugly. Now
Yeah.
everyone's gonna laugh at us as they drive by.
Like, these
The HOA is
losers.
gonna come knocking, all that stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, we did have since you mentioned, cutting grass to me outside, we did have somebody on my personal YouTube channel. They were commenting about I did like a video of us like talking over the Zelda trailer,
I
and
think I
someone
saw
was
that
like, yeah,
comment.
someone was like zero testosterone and whatever, and then someone commented, they're like, no, it's Zelda, like she has, and he's like, no, I'm talking about the host, you
Talking
dingus,
about
or
the
something.
panel, yeah.
And then I was just like, I was like, well, considering like we go outside and we're guys, I think we're good. And then he's like, nothing but wet handshakes and something else. I'm like, I was gonna respond, but I was like, that's not good.
Honestly,
I'll
I
say it.
gotta give it to them. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
The wet handshakes comment was pretty good.
yeah, limp
But
handshakes
yeah,
and something else. I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and
no, I mean, you
what
can't
can you
give any
do?
attention to it, but I
No.
it that's that kind of stuff is funny.
Yeah, it definitely made me it definitely made me chuckle for a second. But anyways, so yeah, week was good. And there's something about like, and don't take this any wrong way, because I know like hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff like that are obviously devastating, but there's something about like watching like the remnants of a hurricane come
Cancel.
around you, seeing all like the various like limbs and stuff fall in your yard, and then like as soon as it's over, like you want to get out and start driving around to see like what damages are out there. Something about that. Same thing with like a snowstorm. Like as soon as it snows like crazy, you just kind of want to get out there.
You wanna
Um,
assess the situation, you
yeah,
gotta
yeah, you got to assess the
yeah, it's something
situation,
about
see what's going
assessing the
on.
damage. A
So yeah, that's
and
that's
granted, like,
always
we're in North Carolina, so it's
yeah.
never once the hurricanes normally hit us, they're, you know, category 1 or down to a tropical storm,
Yeah,
which
you
I think it
usually it's
was.
just like the outer bands of like a
Yeah.
tropical storm at that point. So I mean, it was definitely windy and it rained a ton.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's always there's something about it. Like I couldn't wait. I was like, yeah, this is I'm all good for like a rainy day too. Like just I love a good rainy
Just
day.
love cuddling up and
Yeah, and especially
playing
like
with
I
her.
work from home. Like I don't have to like go out in that. My wife was home from her job. She didn't work that day, so
Mhm.
it was just a good day to look out the window. But yeah, how was the rest of your week?
It was good. Yeah. Um, was just outside a lot on
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. and then I think we went out to dinner in Durham Friday night. We went to the restaurant that we were going to go to.
Okay.
Like, when you guys were coming, we rescheduled and went this weekend. So it was delicious. There's two restaurants, same name. One of them's in Cary/Raleigh, and we went to that one like a couple of months ago, and that one was very bad. Like, we just did not like it, and they were like,
Well,
okay,
what
let's.
was wrong with it? Service, food?
So no, I mean, nothing about the service. The atmosphere was really weird. Like, there were no windows. It was very dark.
Interesting.
It's a sushi place, and like we got the kind of like the full service where they like bring out like rounds of sushi,
Okay.
and it ended up just being like too much of the same flavor going into each round. And by the end of it,
Gotcha.
you're kind of tired of that texture and of that flavor. And it's like and the sushi itself just wasn't that great. So
Yeah.
we were
Mm.
kind of turned off by that. And that was like a year ago. And then you were like, okay, we should try the other place, the original restaurant, see if that's any better. And we didn't do that like whole thing this time, and we just like ordered what we wanted to off of the menu, and it was great. It was
Yeah.
a great time.
We've got a like a rotating sushi bar. I think it's the one with like the conveyor belt where they have like the different ones coming out.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly how that stuff works, but I'm excited to whenever that opens up to try it. If that's the case.
I think do you just pay up front and then you get
Yeah, it
as
might
much
be
as you
like kind of like a
want?
buffet kind of thing where it just comes around like and you just pick up what you want. And
Mhm.
you probably just pay a flat fee, I'd imagine. Because there's probably no way of like keeping up with people what people took and what people didn't
Yeah,
take.
unless it
So
like scans at your table or something
yeah,
like.
I guess that could like I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to do it right.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm excited for that to come whenever it opens. It's been in it's really been about 3 years since like they put the sign up. Like it's taken so long. I don't know if there's been like financial
Jesus.
issues or what. But it looks like it might be finally finishing up, but we'll see. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah, I love a good sushi place.
Yeah. It was good. How's your weekend?
It was good. Just didn't really do much. Just kind of just hung out. Yeah, pretty easy weekend. Not too much going on, which is
Oh, yeah.
totally fine. It's like I get off work Friday and then like just it literally feels like Sunday is like rolling up right around. Just one of those kind of weekends.
I know.
That's all right.
Oh, just briefly, I forgot to mention, I did see Deadpool and Wolverine on Saturday this weekend. Very funny movie. I
Yeah,
thought it was really great. All the cameos and all that stuff was very exciting, even though all of it was spoiled beforehand.
yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast when you see a Marvel movie 2 weeks after it comes out, which is, I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm not expecting the internet to cater to my specific situation in terms of me
Yeah,
not having seen the
I
movie yet.
figured you
So
get spoiled. I mean, literally, when I got home Thursday night,
you
I
were
pulled
probably
up
seeing
TikTok and
content.
it was everywhere. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
this is crazy.
yeah, and we
Just
were
don't read IGN's review. Like they hate it, and they've reposted like the same article like 17 times on Twitter,
dang.
saying how much they hate the movie. It's like I don't know, like it's d-
Why do
it.
they hate it? Do they hate it for the reasons that we were talking about before with all the multiverse
I don't know if
stuff?
they just did probably some of that, and maybe the cameos didn't hit as hard. I don't know. I thought the cameos were pretty awesome. Is it one of those movies that in maybe 10 years is it going to be as good as it is at this moment? Probably not, because it's very relevant to the situation with what the MCU and like the Fox stuff that happened when they got purchased by Disney. So it's all very situational. I don't think it's going to be like, I mean, like right now, like you can go back and watch Infinity War and Endgame, and it still hits the same. It's still just
Those
as good.
moments still hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably not gonna be the case with this movie, but I still think it's a great like you know see it once or twice. At least see it in the movie theater. I think it's a fun experience.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this before, but we're not that critical of movies. If I go to a movie and I laugh, or if I go to a comedy movie and I laugh and I have a good time
Yeah.
and I get some popcorn, I'm gonna like the movie. You know, I'm
Yeah,
not too critical. Like I just love the movie theater experience so much that, you
yeah,
could show me a relatively bad movie and I'll probably have a good time if I have a Coke and popcorn in front of me. So
yeah.
that being said, I've been listening to some of the reviews on Borderlands
Oh,
and just hearing how truly awful that movie sounds.
I
It kind of
watched. I
makes
think
me want to go see it,
oh,
but
it'll probably be on streaming services in like 2 weeks.
right.
Apparently it's like a huge. We'll talk about it in the news here, but I mean, I saw the initial trailer, and when they didn't use the original song from like the first game, I'm like, yeah, this is not what
This ain't
Borderlands
it.
is.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you
Which
not
is
get that song?
it's so weird how they wouldn't because Randy Pitchford was involved
Yeah, like
in the
he's
production
like
of the movie.
he's like a
Yeah,
producer.
and that guy's a weirdo, but regardless of that, he was involved with the games very heavily. So I thought they would, find a way to kind of like tug at those nostalgia strings a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you like the Borderlands franchise a little bit more than I do, and I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
played 3. I just I don't know, like,
Three's good.
I didn't enjoy like, after 2-ish, like, I was kind of over that gameplay, like, the comedy kinda felt flat for me a lot of the time, so I'm wondering, like, how like, if the comedy's as good as the games, and I'm using the word good, like, very loosely, is it if it's on par with the games, I should say, or if it's, like, even worse, and then even hearing, like, Jack Black as Claptrap, not a good fit at all. Like, I know the original Claptrap, uh,
He like
voice
didn't he?
actor, like he sued them or something like that. So I
Yeah,
get why he wasn't involved. But yeah, it just didn't sound good. I don't know. But
yeah. We'll talk about the movie's performance here in a bit, but
yeah, well,
yeah, not gonna see it.
let's dive into what we've been playing. Um, I will briefly because you played the newer games this week. I'm still trucking along with Dark Souls. This game's a masterpiece, man. It is a and again, if you haven't heard me say it before, but I've briefly played Dark Souls attempted a few times to get into it. Um, and I talked about it last week, but Blight Town, I believe, is where I stopped every time just because like that place just sucks.
It's pretty bad.
Um, and I must have missed one of the bonfires there, like towards like the very beginning of it. I missed that somehow. So every time I would die, I would go back to like the one in the depths area, which is not
Mhm.
super far away, but if you die a lot, it's very frustrating, and it's kind of confusing to navigate that area. But I talked about last week. I got past that part. Um, I did get hung up on. I got to Anne Orlando. I know that's another notorious spot for Dark Souls. Luckily, I remembered poison arrows are the go-to for this part because you can after you get down into the area and you have to go up that little. I'm not gonna say a bridge, but yeah, it's pretty much like a bridge where you have the two knights that are shooting at you that will knock you off
Yeah.
and make you
Yep.
restart. That area sucks, and then yeah, using the poison arrows to dwindle down their health and just kind of literally just waiting on them to die. So I finally got past that part. And then I got stuck on Ornstein and Smog for a long time to the point where I was almost gonna be like, yeah, this might be I might be done because there's the bonfire that's right at the beginning of Anne Orlando,
Mhm.
and after you there's like a middle area where you have to make the bridge like it spins it so it makes the bridge higher and lower and stuff like that. There is a bonfire right there, but every time you would have to make the thing spin and like it's just a very long run up
Oh, I
from
remember what you're talking
the
about. Yeah.
bonfire to Ornstein and Smog boss room. And I was doing like pretty decent damage. Like I felt like I was the appropriate level, but dual boss fights they just always suck in Dark Souls games. And I think I think this one
Unfortunately.
was probably worse than the Godskin duo in Elden Ring, in my opinion. Um,
I don't know about that.
I felt like I was able to target the smaller guy, in that fight without immediately getting bombarded with the other,
Talking
like
about in the
in
Godskin
in the
fight.
Gonskit. I just felt like I had more time. But
But
the boss area was also, the arena was a lot smaller in the Elden Ring game versus the,
Mhm.
the big cathedral you have in Ornstein. But I just felt like, I don't know, this I think, is it Ornstein, the smaller guy? I think like he could clear the room like super quick on you. It was not a lot of wiggle room to kind of dodge and maneuver. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can summon. And I end up summoning Knight Solaire, which is, he is so goated. Like he has so much health, and I summoned him the first time and I beat him, which was awesome. But even
oh
where
yeah.
they put his summon sign is like not at the boss arena or like up a stairs with the boss arena. It's like on the stairs in like the main area, and there's like a sniper that's right up above the stairs, and there's two of like the big sentinel knights that are there too. So it's like, man,
Mhm.
like you just really got to screw everybody, like screw me the entire time in this area. Um, and then I finally got through and felt really good. Um, yeah, and then just kind of made my way through. I've gotten 3 out of the 4 Lord Souls. I beat Grave Lord Nito, which is like the big skeleton guy. Um, he's at the very end of
Okay.
the Tomb of the Giants, which that area sucks because it's complete darkness,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
have
I
to
remember that.
navigate enough through it to meet Patches, and I think that's the first time Patches is introduced in the game. Um, and then he kicks you off the ledge, of course, and then you get like the lamp, which is awesome. And then after that, I was like, okay, yeah. But it's like I died a lot of times
Just
in that
trying to get
area
there.
just trying to navigate, and there's also like 4 or 5 like big tall skeletons you have to fight. It's like, man, it's like, this really, really sucks, but the reward you get for it makes it worth it, but it still really sucks.
Yeah, I was kind of ironic. Like I was watching a video today talking about the worst areas in each FromSoft game, and
Yeah,
that area was brought up for Dark Souls 1. And like
yeah,
I totally agree. Like that one, without the complete darkness, it wouldn't be hard to get through because the enemies
no,
aren't that difficult.
no,
But
no,
with the obviously with the complete darkness, you don't know where you're going. So it just makes it way more cumbersome and confusing than it needs to be. And I
yeah.
mean, even Dark Souls 2 has a similar area to it. It's not as dark, but just hard to see, hard to navigate.
And I tried cranking the brightness up all the way, and it still didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's not gonna
And
help.
it's not even like, because there's the and it's also the area too, because like the next bonfire was in the catacombs. There's like a secret bonfire you can get to, and I ended up having to like, drop down, and then you go into like the pinwheel fight, and kill him, and then you have to go up the ladder, and then you're in the Tomb of the Giant. So it's a lot of run up
Mhm.
to get almost immediately killed because it's so dark. Like if they would just have bonfires either right outside the boss arena, after you beat it, I'm fine with that, or just in it like dark, or like Elden Ring does when you get the grace point, as a whatever. If they would have done that in that specific area, that would have helped out so much, but they didn't. And every time I died, it was just a very long run up, which was the most frustrating part. Um, and man, in this game, there are a lot of boss fights you do where you fall through the floor or you have to go through like a hole, and the fall damage like halves your health every single time. So immediately you're having to heal.
Mm.
There's a lot of fights like that, like too many fights that are a little bit
I
frustrating.
mean, they were still figuring it out, you know? It was the 2nd game in the, like, Souls series. They had just done Demon Souls. I mean,
Yeah.
it was still early on, you know? I mean, they didn't you really nail bonfires until Dark Souls 3, and that was, like, even after Bloodborne, which I don't think
Yeah.
that one had the best, uh, like, save points either. I think Dark Souls 3 was the first one where they really
Yeah.
gave you some very, manageable bonfires.
Yeah. I mean, other than those two spots, like I really didn't have too much like other than that, like Anne Orlando, where it was just like it wasn't a hard run. It just felt like it was like it took forever to get there. And you have to like dodge a couple of those big sentinels, which is a little frustrating if you get hit. Um, and then the other one, I think it's a long run, but luckily I beat the boss on my first attempt. Was I think it was Seath the Scaleless. It's like the ice dragon thing. You have to like run up. You're like on the I think the courtyard or the backside of the castle, and you have to like run through all the ice crystals, and then there's like the invisible paths that you have to go on. I did that. I only had to do that one a couple of times, and I was able to navigate it through pretty easily. And then I ended up beating the boss, and like I said on my first run. So I didn't experience that because I did see a TikTok a couple months ago about that specific run. And I was like, man, that's gonna suck.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, and it ended up not being nearly as bad as I thought. But other than those like gripes, and obviously like you said, it's their second attempt at one of these games. Like they obviously get better and better, and more lenient with where they place their bonfires in the game, which is nice. The masterpiece of like the interconnected world is it is so incredible. I'm so excited because like I went through Anne Orlando and I went to a couple of other spots and I was like, man, I've done this before. And I was like, no, that was Dark Souls 3 because they repeat a lot of the same areas, right? In Dark Souls 3. Like I know there's an Anne Orlando because you fight in the same arena, I think, as Ornstein and Smog. But it's just a different boss. But I think they repeat some areas in Dark Souls 3.
Because
Dark Souls 3, I think you fight yourself, right? Like you fight
the original whatever it's called. The frenzy, like the Lord of whatever.
The
Lord of Flame.
Which I think it was you from like the first game, right? Like that's like the big twist or something like that.
Yeah. Which I did not understand when I was playing through Dark Souls 3, but
yeah. So yeah, I just love the interconnectivity of the world. And then again, when I went to Anne Orlando, and I guess spoilers for this game, but I mean, come on, like just to the point where I was like, because once I got to Anne Orlando, I was like, okay, I need to level up a little bit. I need some different types of items, so I would backtrack. I'm like, man, like this game it really could use a fast travel system. And then you beat Ornstein and you get a freaking fast travel. And I was like, God, this game is good. This game is so good.
It knows what I want.
It knows exactly what I want when I want it. Yeah, and then like going to the Painted World was a lot of fun doing that, like kind of side area. Yeah, this game is incredible. I'm having a blast. I've got like this sweet lightning halberd, which comes in handy because there's a lot of dragons.
Sick too.
Yeah, I've got like I got like this golden armor. I just picked up this crystal armor, and I forgot that like if you fight the mimics, like I think they drop like a crystal halberd or crystal weapons and stuff like that. Didn't realize that those broke and you couldn't repair them. So I had a really strong halberd going into the Ornstein fight, and it broke. And then I was back to square one with what I had before, which wasn't super weak, but it wasn't nearly as strong as the crystal one I used. So that was a little frustrating, but yeah, Dark Souls is pretty damn good.
Hell yeah.
I'm probably gonna take a break and not immediately jump into the Dark Souls 2 into 3 because like Black Myth Wukong comes out next Tuesday.
Are you picking that one up?
I think yeah. That's just on PlayStation, right? Is it PlayStation exclusive?
I think
PC? So. Yeah. I think I'm gonna pick that one up. I think reviews drop on Friday, so
yeah, we'll see.
We should know. I hope it's good because it's on my Fantasy Critic. So
I know it is.
So hopefully it reviews well, but like also like it's always nice to see. And this one seems like it's way more linear than a normal Souls game. Like it's
way
people
more
are saying
action
like people are saying like it's a boss rush game, which whatever. Like I'm fine with that. So I'm always open for more Dark Souls types games in the genre to come out, and
quality ones too.
Yeah, quality ones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's really been like has Liza P been like the best one? Like I haven't played Lords of the Fallen, but Liza P seems to be like the best one of those by far.
Yeah, even having played, 50% of Lords of the Fallen, I would definitely say Lies of P
Yeah.
is one of the best, if not like the best Souls-like game out there.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the best at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Dark Souls. I'll probably, I don't know how long like the DLC area is, but I'm gonna get through that, and then I don't have very much more to go through on the base game. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic. Love it.
Nice.
What
So
you been
wait, so
playing?
is the
Yeah,
plan to play through 2 and then 3 eventually?
yeah. I
I
want
mean,
I
I know
want to
you've
play through.
played 2 and 3, in the past, but you wanna go
Yeah,
through the whole
yeah. I
trilogy?
just want to get like it's been so long since I've played. And I mean, I might even go through Bloodborne again at some point. It's just been so long since I've played these games that I want to see the history and see the respect that like um not respect, but like now that I played Elden Ring, like I want to go back and see like the roots of these games, even though I've played them, like except for Dark Souls, but I still want to go back and re-experience them again, have
Yeah.
better because I just have a better understanding of how these games work. Even when I played through Dark Souls 2, like I knew how it worked, but like now I have a
Now
pretty
you
pretty good
yeah,
grasp.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Does, playing through Dark Souls 1 again, does that make you want to return to Demon Souls and continue on with that game, or are you kind of you're kinda done with that one?
I think I'm done with that one for a while. I don't know. Like
Just didn't
yeah.
click?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's a
didn't click.
different style, like, no matter what you say about, "Oh, it's the same, it's still a Souls game," whatever, it's a completely different style, there's not an interconnected world, there's
Yeah,
all the
that's the thing. I mean, there
yeah,
is and there isn't because like their own separate like areas, but they do circle back on each other. So there's like micro versions of that. But yeah, I don't know. I just like I said, I've thought about it before. I just game just hasn't. I mean, it's clicked. I get it, but like I'm just not having fun. Where with
that's
this
fair.
game, like even when like I'm dying a lot and it's frustrating, like I'm still like, God, this game is good. You know.
Right.
So I'll get back to it eventually one day. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
But what have you been playing?
So I played and beat Cat Quest 3 over
Damn.
this weekend. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I was very into it. For those who are unaware, it's a it's like a light action RPG where the premise of the game is you're traversing the overworld instead of, going into towns and like doing all this stuff. And like imagine like old school Final Fantasy, except you're just fighting on the overworld,
Yeah.
kind of like that. And it has like, caves and dungeons that you go into, and you can, either go into like 2D ish combat, or you stay in your like kind of like pulled back over the top 3D combat that's in the overworld. So it kind of like varies between those two. Um, but I had so much fun with this game. Everything about it is so streamlined. You level up very quick.
That's nice.
You are like constantly unlocking new weapons. And what I really love about this game is if you come across a chest that has a weapon that you already have, it just levels up your weapon. So it doesn't
That's
give you a
pretty
duplicate.
good.
It just like, oh, my weapon just increases level by 10. It's like
That's pretty
very,
smart.
very streamlined.
Yeah.
And I don't think the first 2 games had that. So like this is, a great addition to the third game. Um, the story is nothing crazy. Like it's focused around pie rats. So rats are the main antagonist of this game. And
Gotta
I
love
think
the
the first 2
punny.
games, yeah, very punny. The first 2 games were medieval focused, and I think the first one was like very cat focused. Second one had dogs. Third one has rats. I think they've planned out 9 games, like thematically planned out, because like,
Jeez.
cats have 9 lives. So they've planned out, you
Okay.
know, the theme or whatever of 9 games. And this one is pirates. So of course you have your ship that you're sailing around in. And
Birds has got to be next, or like one of the list, right? Like birds,
yeah,
or
something. Yeah, birds has to be on one of the entries. But
So
ship
did you
combat
fight
is
against
new.
cats in the first game?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you fight against cats in the first game. It's been a long time since I played that one. I think it was 2018 when I played it. But then dogs was like the second one. It's like cats and dogs coming together. That one had co-op.
Yeah.
This one has co-op as well. I think you both play as a cat if you were to do co-op. But like the main difference of this one is like you're on water, you have a ship, you can very easily, get on your ship, go to a different island, get off your ship. It's all very tight. Like the entire world is very like small but vast. I don't know if that's a contradiction, but
Yeah.
it seems vast, but you can get from one, tiny island to another in, 5 seconds.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's very streamlined in that regard. The ship combat is great. You can upgrade your ship every like 5 or 10 levels. You can, either upgrade your own equipment, like you have another slot for a charm or something, or you can upgrade your ship's equipment. So I feel like every moment of that game, you are seeing something new. You're leveling up. You're upgrading something. And on top of that, like the game was relatively challenging. Like I was dying to bosses, so it wasn't like I was steamrolling through the game. Like I, would get to an area, I would see that I was underleveled, and I would go out and
Also, it
do
tells
the
you like on
dungeons.
the map, like what the recommended level is, or what the
No,
level.
so
No.
the first game actually did that. Like it would show a
Oh, okay.
cave, and it would say like, "Oh, this is like recommended level 65 or 60." With
Okay.
this game, you go in, you start fighting enemies, and you can see like an indicator above their head. It says like, "Oh, like this enemy is over leveled. They're level 60, and you're level 40." So I kind of like that way. I kind of like this way better because you'll enter every cave that you see, right? Because you want to explore, and then you'll see that you know the enemy's levels are way higher than your own. So you want to
Gotta
go,
go. Gotta go. Gotta
yeah.
go.
So it kind of breeds curiosity more so than just avoiding a cave entirely because you see that level 65 indicator on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes sense.
yeah. So I've really been loving it. I'm
Sweet.
almost 100% of the way through it. I've
Oh, wow.
gone like pretty much every weapon, every piece of armor, every piece of headgear.
How many hours would you say was the main campaign?
If you beelined it, probably 5. But
Cool.
I've probably put about 10 hours into it, just kind of doing all the extra stuff. And
Okay.
then, of course, I think the max level is 999,
Jeez.
and that's like a lot of people try to get to
What level are you?
65. So
Oh.
very, very low. But like you go into New Game Plus and you instantly gain like another 80 levels, something like
Oh,
that. So
okay. Gotcha.
yeah, the goal is to play through the game a bunch and try to get to level 999. Um, But this is like it's not a contender for game of the year for me, but it's definitely up there. Like I've just really been enjoying my time with this
A
game.
nice honorable mention.
I mean, not even that might even be in the top 10. You never know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That I'm curious about. I need to play the demo at least. I've got it downloaded.
Check out the demo. I
Yeah.
mean, Brittany might even like it too. I feel like it's a good co-op game. I tried to get Alicia to play with me, but she was watching me play the demo and she's like, "Why is it so hard so quick? Like, why did it ramp up so quickly?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. That's just how these games work sometimes."
Yeah. They give you like a first couple battles and then
And it's like,
time
"Okay,
to
here's the
lock in.
boss. Go
Yeah.
for it."
Here's the boss. Time to
Yeah.
die.
So yeah, I totally recommend this game. I think it's $20 if you're buying it digitally, 30 if you're going physical.
Okay.
So yeah, great,
Cool.
definitely a great deal.
Quick. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about difficulty and Dark Souls popped in my mind. Um, Apparently with the DLC, because like the DLC for all these games are always like so convoluted, they didn't tell people how to get into it. They just, it wasn't like Elden Ring, when you have to you just beat Mog or whatever, and then you're good. Like this one, you have to go to this area in like the dark root basin, something like that, like the green area. You have to kill this this it's not a dragon, it's like the hydra. You have to kill the hydra, and then you have to go to the corner of the map, kill this random golden golem, then
dumb.
warp to Anne Orlando, and then kill this random like blue golem that drops this little I can't remember what he drops, but it's some pendant or something like that. And then you take the pendant and you go back to the area with the golden golem, and there's like a portal that's there, and then it sucks you in. Like it's so convoluted, and like I don't understand how people discover this stuff, but yeah, it's funny.
Dude, so when this DLC came out, like did FromSoft like release any statement on how to get to it?
I don't think they did. Like I was reading like how to get to the DLC, and like I saw like a thread where people were like, yeah, they didn't tell them how they. I guess they had trailers and stuff for the DLC, and maybe there was like some hints in there, but like there was no like step by
There's no
step
explicit instructions
to get into the DLC. Like that's crazy.
So
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, with Elden Ring, they kind of explicitly said you had to kill Mog.
Yeah, like kill Mog, get ready,
and Radon too. But
yeah,
that's crazy though.
Craziness. But yeah. Anyways, sorry.
No, you're good. Continuing on with nautical themes, I've also been playing SteamWorld Heist 2. That game came out on the same day last week, and I really loved the first game when it came out on the 3DS. It was one of my favorite games on the 3DS, and I'm really enjoying it now. Probably not as much as I did the first time around, just because there hasn't been as many noticeable changes. It still feels like I'm playing the first game to an extent. I mean, you have like the first one took place in outer space. You had you were kind of like a space pirate. I mean, you were the space pirate. This game takes place on a planet, and you have a ship on the water. So that's the main difference. And you have a couple of nautical battles in between the actual like levels themselves. But I'm pretty early on into it. I'm only, a couple of hours in, only, a couple of like real battles into it. So I'm not super deep into it yet. And I heard it's way longer than the first one, which, is a little bit concerning, because I thought the first one was the perfect length. It was around like 10 to 12 hours to get through, which kind of,
maybe already pushing the buttons of too long.
Yeah, that could have been pushing the buttons a little bit. Especially, I think the in the first game, the levels were procedurally generated to an extent, and I'm not sure about the case for SteamWorld Heist 2. I don't know if these levels are procedurally generated. They probably are, but yeah, I'm thinking like 30 hours might overstay its welcome, and that's assuming that the game doesn't evolve much from where it's at right now, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure like there will be more mechanics and more things to kind of go off to the side and do that I wasn't able to do in the first game. So the jury's still out on that kind of stuff. But from what I've played so far, I've really enjoyed it. Just not hitting the same highs as the first game, which is it's unfortunate. I feel like this game's not selling super well, and SteamWorld Build came out I think it came out last year. That one didn't do too well either. So, in this industry, in this economy, whatever, kind of worried about the future of Thunderful Games. Image and Form was the previous name of the company, but they do all the SteamWorld games. So, hopefully this game does well. I think it's good. I think it's very good. But yeah, like I said, it's just not hitting the same highs as the first one.
Okay. When did the other one come out? How long has it been since?
It came out in 2016, I think. So it's been a long time. It hasn't
8 years.
It's not like they followed up with a new sequel very quickly, but Yeah, they just each SteamWorld game is kind of different. They had SteamWorld Quest, which was a deck builder, and then they had Build, which was a city sim, and then Heist. This one's kind of like a XCOM, like a 2D XCOM style game.
Yeah.
I think they made their best game with SteamWorld Dig 2, which was
Dig 2, yeah.
Yeah, which was like a Metroidvania style game, 2D Metroidvania. I mean, you know me,
No.
huge fan of Metroidvanias, but
Huge fan.
I would say like Heist and Dig are their best entries. So I'm glad they're making another Heist game, but part of me wants to see a SteamWorld Dig 3.
Yeah, maybe it's coming. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. And if it is, I hope they wait for the Switch 2. I think this game should have waited for the Switch 2. I think
does it run a little bit choppy?
No, it runs fine. Like it runs perfectly on the Switch.
Yeah, that might have been a good one to wait to like. Even if the power wasn't necessarily needed for the Switch 2, you have like that backing of the Switch 2. Like, hey, there's not a lot of games right now that's exclusive to the Switch 2. Here's one of them, and that's partly why like everybody went to Switch sold so well. Like if that had came out, 2 or 3 years after the Switch had released, like nobody would have cared.
Yeah, and honestly,
generic.
I've been thinking about Silksong, and maybe they're waiting for the Switch 2 as well. Like maybe
They might be
to come in at the perfect time. I mean, the original Hollow Knight came to Switch in 2018. That was like right when the Switch was really taking off.
Yeah,
and maybe they want to kind of recreate that success with Silksong, and kind of line up with Switch 2's launch.
Yeah, at this point, I'm good with waiting for Silksong. I'm just
not really thinking about it. Just
no. I mean, I want to play it, and like I will drop probably just about any game this year to play it. But also like I'm not. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not itching to play it, but like I could just wait. Like I'm good with waiting. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I really think the Microsoft's presentation kind of killed their momentum. Like probably killed morale a little bit. Like having that deadline of 1 year.
Yeah. Every game shown off is going to be out in 1 year.
That's such an empty promise to make on Microsoft's behalf.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
I digress.
I think it'll be a 2025 game, but if it comes out in 2024, I mean that'd be great too. I mean maybe we'll see it next week at Gamescom. Probably not, but who knows?
Yeah.
What else have you been playing?
Lastly, I did start Phantom Liberty.
Okay.
In Cyberpunk, and so far it is extremely cool. Way different from the base game. I've only done like one boss so far, but even with that and just the sections that I've played so far, it's like astronomically different from the missions I've played.
And it's outside of the city, right?
It's in a new area, Dogtown.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just a completely new area to the DLC. Like the aesthetic of the area is very similar to, the rest of Night City, but I think it's just like kind of like built a little bit better,
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, loving that so far. Need to get back to it. But from what I've played for the first, 2 to 3 hours, it's been a ton of fun. And
cool.
I'm glad I came back to this game. Glad I came back when I did after all the 2.0 stuff, after all the bugs were patched. It's just a really fun game to play.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, I'll
you need to get back to it. Yeah.
I'll try it eventually. All right. Well, I think that's everything we've been playing. I've been playing just still some more Fortnite. They've got the new season coming out on Friday, so I'm pretty excited about that. It seems like it's still going to be the same car stuff, although they'd done like the big Marvel crossover thing again, which I'm a little sick of Marvel just in general. So they got like Doctor Doom in it, Wolverine, some other characters and stuff like that. So it looks cool. I'm curious to see how all the new movement's going to work. They're like sunsetting or vaulting some of the other weapons and movement in that game, which will be nice to kind of change up the pace a little bit with those games, or with yeah, just how the end game works in those games. I've seen less of the car stuff towards the end, which is nice. But there's these things called and I've probably talked about it before, but these nitro fists where you can punch them and use them as a melee weapon, but you can also use them to essentially fly in the air, and you punch and it gives you like this big boost. But like every bit of the end game is pretty much everybody has those, and it's could be a little bit annoying, even though I'm sitting there using them myself, but it can still be a little bit annoying. Especially for Kellen when he just doesn't have his good a skill, I guess. But also he had a super clutch moment the other day. We were playing and it was 2v2. It was me and him versus another team. And the circle was closing in. I ended up getting downed and pushed out of the circle, so I was done. He had the nitro fist that I'm talking about, and he managed to hit both of them at the same time and knock them into the storm. And then I was like, all right, buddy, just launch up into the air so you have some, just to get away from the storm edge. And then as soon as he did that, he got the victory royale because he knocked him out to the storm, damaged them enough till they died. And I was like, dude, I was like, oh my God, you clutched a 2v1. That's insane. So that was awesome.
Was he excited?
He was very excited. And I tried to clip it on the Xbox. For some reason it didn't clip. I've noticed that sometimes stuff doesn't save. And I go through the app pretty frequently and just make sure I'm deleting old stuff. Because there will be a limit eventually if you hit it. I noticed that when I was playing a lot of Halo 3 or Halo Infinite and clipping everything, but that wasn't the case, and it didn't. I was like, damn, that sucks. I might check on the Xbox and see if it's saved locally,
internally,
yeah, something like that, and hopefully it's on there. But I mean, I didn't tell him I saved it, but it was still a pretty awesome moment.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. So still having a good time with that game. It's still fun. Just whenever it's sweaty, it's just a little bit too sweaty. I'm like, I casually want to play this game.
Yeah. There should be a game mode for that.
Yeah, there is another game mode called Reload where it's a different map. It's a much smaller map. There's only 40 people. So what team of 40 people and 20 teams. Much smaller. There's different guns, different movement options. But as long as one player is surviving, if the other one goes down, they can respawn until the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and then they cut respawns off. So that's pretty cool playing with him sometimes in that. Just so if he dies, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, still just trucking along with that game.
Nice.
All right, well let's dive over into the news, and we missed it last week. I know we had talked about Bungie doing the layoffs, but we forgot to mention Game Informer. So just wanted to say, sucks what GameStop does. I just continue to just not like GameStop and their practices. Granted, they did it for a reason. Obviously, it probably wasn't. They probably weren't getting any sort of grand revenue from it. So I understand, but the way they went about it, just effective immediately,
shutting down everything,
shutting it down, shut their Twitter down, shut the website down, close that down, so they couldn't even archive any of their past articles. So hopefully they had that saved somewhere else. I don't know. Just sucks. It just sucks all around.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I know you got a Game Informer from being just a GameStop Pro member for a while. And I think I had it for a little bit. I was more into OXM, the official Xbox magazine subscription, but yeah, I mean they were one of the last ones still doing magazines, so that just sucks.
They had really cool covers too, especially the past few months. And I know they always made a spectacle about their reveals for the covers, and that kind of stuff was really cool. So it sucks to see really the last of them going away. There's really no more print.
No, I think
in
PC
magazines.
Gamer is like the only one left. Out of like kind of just randomly, and that's like the only one. I mean, I know there's like
Yeah,
probably others I'm just not thinking about, but yeah, it's sad. Like it just growing up with all that stuff, getting the cool like demo discs from OXM.
yeah.
Like I read through. I don't. It must have been. Yeah, I think it. I don't know if it was OXM or not. They had someone had the cover story for Resident Evil 4, which I don't think that was on the original Xbox. So it must
Just
have been
GameCube.
something else. Um, I remember reading through that like a million different times for like the first Resident Evil 4 game. Like, man, like something about those old magazines were just. I
Kind of
wish I
timeless.
would have saved them. I must have thrown them away at some point. But I wish I would have saved those magazines. But
Mhm.
yeah, it still sucks.
Yeah.
But good news, back from the dead, seemingly, Tango Gameworks, purchased by Krafton. They're the publisher of PUBG. Is that right?
Publisher PUBG. They own um Striking Distance, which did Callisto Protocol.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I think their main source of revenue is
PUBG.
PUBG
Yeah.
and then like mobile games as well.
Yeah.
But
PUBG. But PUBG Mobile probably does a lot for them too. So I'm curious if like I'm sure did this deal, because like they're getting everything, right? Like they're
no,
getting all the IPs, or is it just Hi-Fi Rush?
just Hi-Fi. They're not
Also,
getting Evil Within. They're not getting Ghostwire.
oh, okay.
They're,
I
I
was
think
kind
they're
of hoping
just
they would
getting.
get.
I was hoping
I
they
was
get
hoping they
Evil
would get
Within.
Evil Within. I would love to see a third one from them.
Yeah, but yeah, they're just getting Hi-Fi. I think like that was like a separate part of the deal was that they got the IP for Hi-Fi Rush from Xbox from Microsoft.
So is Hi-Fi I mean, I guess we don't know yet, but is Hi-Fi Rush going to be taken away from like Game Pass, or is that like locked in?
No, there's no. They said there was no current changes to how things were currently like laid out in terms of Game Pass or you know just ability to purchase these games. There are no changes there. It's just uh, where the IP lies, who has the ability to create these games, what the staff are doing, like that kind of stuff.
I
Uh,
wonder if this deal was in the works prior to them shutting them down, or if this
I
was
don't
like right
know.
after. But that
Maybe it
seems
was
quick.
announced and
But
Krafton approached Microsoft to strike a deal, and it just took a while to pan out. But yeah, you got to think because this
because like
the closure happened.
did people leave? Like I mean, 'cause obviously, this was like 2 months ago, right? When they announced this. um, I mean, I'm sure people left the company because they had to. I mean, you can't not be out of a job for 2 months. So I'm wondering if like maybe they ended up bringing a lot of those people back.
Mhm.
Um, but that either way, that's good. I mean, it's kind of similar to like Toys for Bob, where they had that worked out instead of just being shut down. They were able to like acquire themselves. I'm not really sure how that all
Go
worked, but
independent and then separately strike a deal with Microsoft to
yeah,
exclusively produce for them.
yeah, it was interesting how that worked out. But hey, at least there's not another studio shutting down.
Yeah, and at least Twister Valve isn't working on Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just want them to do more Spyro or whatever they're working up. Because
Mhm.
they don't. I must say they don't deserve to be on Call of Duty, but um, yeah, I feel like their creative juices were kind of stagnant for what they could do versus just being back up on Call of Duty. But
Right.
hey, good news. I think a lot of people were very excited. I'm a little bummed out they didn't keep the Evil Within IP. 'Cause I just don't know if I don't think Xbox is ever gonna bring that back because those games just didn't sell super, super well to worth making a third one.
Right.
Um, yeah, I kind of wish they would have just gave it to him. That would have been nice. Like that could have been like Crafton's answer to like a really good horror game that they were trying to get out of. Um,
Do you think we see a Callisto Protocol too?
I don't know. That game, how well did that game sell?
I think it sold 3
Decent,
million, 3 plus,
but it
but
probably
it's
cost
still
a lot of million. It probably,
underperformed.
yeah, I say it probably cost a lot.
Because they got what's his face to be the main character of the game, which wasn't necessary at all.
Oh, what's his name? Shamel?
Josh Duhamel.
Josh Jamal, yeah. I mean, how much do they actually pay that person? Like
I
a
mean, probably
decent chunk?
probably millions,
Millions, yeah. That game probably cost hundreds of millions to make, I'd imagine. It was probably a pretty expensive game.
which is kind of
Which is
crazy.
crazy to think about, but
It was a short game too.
very, very short game. But it was like finally very detailed, but like just the combat was not all there. They fixed a little bit of it, like especially like the healing mechanic, like that took entirely too long, and they fixed a lot of that stuff.
But the second half was still underbaked with how many
Very
times you
much
fought
so.
that
Same boss over and over again.
split boss, whatever it was.
For sure. And then you fight it again in the DLC, which is like hilarious. So yeah. So yeah, glad to see Tango back from the dead. Hopefully they were able to keep most of those people or at least reach back out to them after they got that deal done. So very, very cool that they did that. Nick, we talked about it earlier, but you want to read the next one or talk about the next one?
Yeah. Borderlands, I think this weekend it brought in 12 million on a $100+ million budget. So
It's like one of the worst flops of all time. Like,
yeah,
right?
it was a bad flop. And that's a combination of them not marketing the movie very well. Like none of the trailers made me want to see the movie, and I'm
No.
a decently big Borderlands fan. Like I like all the games. And then they blew all their budget on the star-studded cast that
Yeah.
From the sound of it, under delivered because of the script, because the writing was just not good, and that ties back to the games, which the writing in the games have never been great. Like that's never been the strong suit of any of the Borderlands games, maybe
No, it's
aside
just
from the
been
first one.
it's been about the looting
It's
and
been about the
shooting.
looting, and that's what they sold in the games for so long. It's like, oh, there's a million billion guns to loot.
Like a
They never
jillion.
sold the story. Like you're a
No.
vault hunter, you find a vault, you
Yeah,
do it
that
with
was it.
friends, whatever.
You have somewhat funny or somewhat funny like dialogue and stuff like that. Some of it's good, some of it's like cringy bad, but I don't know.
Most of it's bad. Like the Tiny Tina stuff is all bad within the game. Like that kind
Yeah.
of like the claptrap that gets annoying. So obviously, in a movie, it's gonna be equally annoying.
It's like I gotta watch this. I'm not actually playing it. Like, how's that? You know?
Like
Yeah.
I've experienced the worst part of this franchise. Like I can't actually play the game. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's literally what it's like. It's like they took the worst part about the franchise and then made that into a movie, which obviously, there's no gameplay, so it's like you're just I don't know.
and I think although it's a very star-studded cast, I don't think individually any of these stars are like driving people into seats in the theaters. I don't
I
think
mean,
Kevin Hart
not
is
when you have Kevin Hart. Like he's literally in like every single movie. Like I'm so surprised that like The Rock isn't in this movie just because like they're all like
right.
they're always together. Like I don't know. I don't. Kevin Hart's fine, but like
Yeah,
he's just in everything. I think he's like oversaturated the market with how much stuff he's in, and like he's not that funny. I don't think. And like as an act, and especially like viewing him as like an action hero or star, like I don't know.
I don't think he's a good action hero star, but I don't know. Like from the inception of the movie, which was years ago.
Yeah.
From the initial pitch, just weird, and like theoretically, it should have worked out because I feel like the world of Borderlands is like it's a good world to dive into, kind of like Fallout, where you can make a funny story out of it.
Yeah.
You could do something interesting with it, but they chose to go the route of Lilith and Tiny Tina and Claptrap, that standard route. And I don't think that translates to a movie as well as it did in the game. And it didn't translate that well in the game. So it was set up to fail, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, like the fact that they didn't have the Cage the Elephant song, like as the trailer in the first trailer. Like I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this movie's cooked. It's like, yes, this game came out before Guardians of the Galaxy, but it just looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff because I mean a lot of people don't know what Borderlands is. They don't know that's a video game movie. So it feels cheap. I don't know. I'm very curious to see it. I'll probably just wait for it to come on some sort of streaming service because I just want to see how this movie is and how bad it is. But yeah,
it doesn't do well for the medium of video game to movie adaptations. That's
especially
for sure.
since we've had Last of Us and Fallout, so it's been good stuff for the last year or so, couple years.
Just
So
a
it
step
felt
back.
like we were like in the upper trajectory for like finally good Halo, good video game adaptations, and now we're like with Halo and now this, it's kind of like brought it back down a little bit. So oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this will like. I don't think this will do anything bad to the industry.
No,
But
I don't think so.
Simply because I don't think a lot of people know that this movie is even out. I don't think people know what this movie is. They don't know it's a video game movie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the last trailer for it at the Deadpool movie, and I was like, yeah, this looks awful, like just bad, just really bad. So, well, yeah, that sounds like it's a big flopper. Nick, tell me about this. Are you guys excited about? Do you want to hear more Switch 2 rumors and details? Nick, you are muted.
My bad. Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, Switch 2 stuff. Are you excited? Rumors, all that stuff? No? Nick,
I
tell
know
me about some patents.
everyone's excited about the Switch 2.
I
More
am
leaks, more rumors.
so just like I saw like the report today that's like, oh,
April.
someone said that it's the Switch 2 is not coming out this year. It's like we already knew that.
Yeah.
Like they said that it'll be announced and maybe people won't know what fiscal year and like calendar year means, but they already said it's going to be announced in the fiscal year. So do I think that it could potentially be announced in the next couple of months? Yes. Is it coming out in 2024? Absolutely not.
No.
So I'm just like, God, like just stop. Like I'm to the point where I just like want to mute Switch 2 on Twitter. I'm just like, I'm so done with it.
Feel bad for all the Nintendo YouTubers right now who are going through it because Nintendo's having
scraping by right now.
Yeah.
I've seen people do like videos on like talking about how dry it is and how much of a struggle it is right now. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're scraping at the bottom of the barrel, but it's like some people they wanna have every little ounce of every little morsel of information that they can find and hear. But I think for the vast majority, we're just like, oh yeah, we know it's coming. Like we just gotta be
Just let me
patient.
know when it's
There's
announced.
other stuff to play right now. Like it's fine. Like I want it, but I don't need it necessarily at this exact moment.
Right. Yeah, I tuned into Nintendo Prime's stream
Yeah.
last week where he was
I was
very
talking about
like
yeah,
doom
I
and
did too.
gloom.
Yeah.
So it's apparently it's not great. I don't think it's great for Nintendo YouTubers right now, just because there's nothing huge coming out. It's a lot of remakes and just new titles that aren't super exciting. But I mean,
The Zelda stuff's
that's
good.
kind of right. Zelda stuff is good,
That's
but
about
that's
it,
kind of
though.
the case for the industry right now. Like, there's nothing that exciting coming out this year.
Yeah, this year's been pretty cool. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here playing Dark Souls and haven't had not there's anything wrong with Dark Souls, but like and going back to old games, but like I just haven't had an itch to and there hasn't been a lot of stuff new. Like the stuff that has been coming out that's new like this week is smaller indie titles, which is great for those games coming out right now because they don't have to worry about other stuff. But yeah, it's been a slower year. And that's fine. Like we always need those years to kind of catch up with backlog and stuff like that. But it does make for a little bit of a more boring year.
In terms of
I don't
news.
in terms of news, yeah. And like I don't know about you, but like next week at the Gamescom, I'm excited to see some more Indiana Jones. Hopefully, we get we have to get a release date, right? Unless it's pushed.
Mhm.
So, and I just don't expect much from Gamescom next week. I don't
Yeah.
expect anything too great. Like I'll watch it. Like I think it's like 2 p.m. Eastern time. So like I'll definitely tune in for sure. But this will probably be one of the least hype is even too strong of a word, like for this event.
You're just tuning in because you're available to tune in, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
not because you're waiting for it or anticipating it, hyped
No.
for it, but
No. And
just
if
because.
I wasn't working, like I might stream it, but um yeah, I mean I'm obviously excited because it's it's more video game stuff, but yeah, there's nothing. I don't expect any like crazy announcements, from it.
Right.
We'll see.
I
Maybe
don't
see this
either.
up, but who knows?
I don't expect any like Silk Song level announcements at Gamescom. I hope we do see a release date for Plucky Squire.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
I think that could be announced, like that release date could be announced, and that's supposed to be 2024.
Didn't they
We'll
on their
see.
Twitter? Didn't they say like stay tuned, something
It
like
said
that?
stay tuned. So maybe they
So
were
maybe
referring to Gamescom, but
that'd be good. Yeah, that one. I know that one's pretty. That's a pretty hyped indie game.
right.
Coming from Devolver. Uh, yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that one. That one looks pretty good.
Mhm.
Maybe a PlayStation Pro announcement.
Maybe
Would that be like like I know that's heavily rumored to come out this year, but that would be like the biggest like fart sound, like insert fart sound here kind of announcement. Like I don't know. I
on
think
it.
people are just so down.
It's kind of disrespectful to launch a PS5 Pro in a year where they're not having where PlayStation hasn't really released any first party titles.
Yeah, like
Like, what are you gonna show on it? You're gonna show God of War Ragnarok on it from 2022?
I
Show
just think
Spider-Man?
everyone's like really just down on these consoles right now.
Because this generation, it's pretty terrible. I'm
It
not
is,
gonna lie.
it is terrible. Like third party, it's been good, but I think, but
When
first
you say
party
third
wise,
party, I know you mean Elden Ring.
well,
Elden
Elden
Ring has been
Ring, like
great.
Capcom's carried.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's been some really good stuff. Like, I mean, even like stuff like Stellar Blade earlier this year. Like, I really liked that game. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously Nintendo, last year with Zelda, but that's a different story with that. But Baldur's Gate 3 was great. For those people that enjoyed that game. I mean, there's been some good stuff, but I don't know. Maybe in general, this generation has sucked all across the board. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at all the games,
I
but
think it has. Maybe we need an entire podcast episode dedicated to rating this generation.
yeah. Because when did
Compared
this
to
generation
previous.
start? 2020 or is it 2019? It
No,
was
it's
2019, right?
2020. No,
Was it
2020.
2020?
That's when
Okay.
both consoles launched.
Okay.
And
That's right.
like
Because Halo was supposed to come out in 2020, and then it got pushed to 2020. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and like it's Switch a part of like if the cutoff is 2020, I still think to a certain degree the Switch did carry this generation. Even if you're considering games after 2020.
Yeah, because I mean the Switch came at like the tail end of the previous generation, so it's been a lot. It's been like the main part of this generation.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'll have to go back and look. I can't even like think of stuff like outside of like Resident
'Cause there's
Evil, Elden
nothing.
Ring. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll have to go back and look at our game of the years over the last few years.
I mean, Last of Us 2, that was PS4. Uh, what was our game of the year of 2021? Metroid Prime?
Metroid Dread,
Oh, yeah, or sorry, Metroid Dread.
Halo Infinite. I'm looking at our list. It Takes Two, Resident Evil 8, Death's Door, Psychonauts 2, Monster Hunter, uh, Rise,
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank, Forza 5, Guardians of the Galaxy, um, Little Nightmares 2. This is the 2021 game of the year list. Outriders, I had that on there. Let me look at 2020. Actually, no, I don't think I have the 2021 list.
2020 was Ori, Last of Us, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, 2023 or 2022 was pretty good. We had Elden Ring, Xenoblade Chronicles. You had Marvel Snap on your list. God of War Ragnarok, Neon White, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, A Plague Tale, Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, Highland. 2022 kind of cooked. It was pretty good.
But out of that list, most of the games you just said were on Switch.
Yeah, Xenoblade, Neon White, Pokemon, Triangle Strategy, Mario and Rabbids, Kirby. Yeah, man, yeah. Nintendo's carried this generation. And then last year we had, of course, last year was actually really good.
Last year
Tears
was
of the
good.
Kingdom,
Yeah.
Armored Core 6, Sea of Stars, Alan Wake 2, Dredge, which the DLC for Dredge comes out tomorrow. I did not realize that. Pikmin 4, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, Lies of P, Metroid Prime Remaster, but again, a lot of this stuff is Nintendo. Yeah. Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Yeah. Wow. Whew.
I'm just saying, like, name one first-party Xbox game outside of Halo Infinite that's
Forza 5. Like that was a good game.
that was a good game, but
Not necessarily my cup of tea, but like I had a good time with it for what I played.
yeah. And then PlayStation had God of War, Spider-Man, Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyways,
yeah, it sucked. It has just sucked.
It
God.
sucked. But
yeah,
going back to the original story,
new Switch cartridge patent.
Switch cartridge, yeah, patent, patent leak, whatever, or you can access patents, but
yeah, not rumors,
just,
not leaks. It's just kind of like
it just is what it is.
Yeah,
but it showed a new. It's still a cartridge, so that kind of implies that it's still a Switch system, but it's slightly different.
Yeah.
And then I think there was some sort of other leak about like a cooling fan
on the
and
dock.
a dock.
Yeah.
And then being able to play wirelessly with the dock, being able to connect to it wirelessly from the Switch, kind of like a reverse.
So like a Wii U
situation. Right. Yeah. I don't know what to believe. I mean, it's all conjecture. It's all hearsay. It's all he said, she said.
Yeah. I mean, I could see like the cartridges changing slightly.
Kind of like the DS to the 3DS, right?
Yeah, because the Switch 2 cartridges they're not going to work with the Switch 1, I would assume, but there's going to be enough space to where, assuming it's going to be backwards compatible, that the Switch 1 will fit in, like you said, like the 3DS, where you could stick in a Game Boy Advance one, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, this just confirms what we kind of already know, and that's that the next console is going to be Switch 2, or Switch successor, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we don't know. We don't know anything.
We know nothing.
We know nothing. Are you excited? Are you excited for the announcement? Are you ready? I mean, you said earlier that you were just ready for it to be announced.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited. Like, I can't wait to play it. But I think other people have talked about it so damn much that at this point that I'm just like, I'm kind of sick of it. And I just want it to be announced already. Not that I'm saying Nintendo is taking too long. But I'm just ready for it to be announced so we can start officially talking about it and what we know is actually real and not speculation and thoughts and theories and whatever.
Thoughts, theories, opinions.
I just want the Nintendo YouTubers to be happy, man.
If they're happy,
everybody's happy.
Because if they're not happy, everyone's gonna know about it.
Yeah. So I don't
know. Try being an Xbox YouTuber.
Oh God, that would be horrible.
That can't be easy.
Yeah. Like, well, guys, Xbox did something this time. Oh, they had a really good showcase. They disclosed 18 studios. Can't win for lose.
Everything has a caveat.
Yeah.
With Xbox. Oh, these controllers look great. Oh, it's a limited quantity.
I do love the that new controller though, the clear one, like the blue one.
You know what they should do? A new game.
How about a new color variant? I'm not gonna get it, but it does look
Multiverse,
cool.
all these variants. Come on.
I did pre-order the Astrobot controller though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
I could cancel it at any time, but I was like, you know what? Whatever. It looks cool. But all right, Nick, tell me about this last story about GTA 6.
All right, last up here, there was kind of a leak around GTA 6. Other stuff was said, but the thing that stood out to me that I wanted to talk about was the budget of this game. Apparently, the budget is $2 billion.
That's insane.
For GTA 6, which is, I mean, obviously way more than any other game that's ever been produced. I mean, people were freaking out about Spider-Man 2 costing $300 million to make. And here we have GTA 6.
Yeah.
Costing $2 billion. I mean, I know they're going to make that revenue up. If not on initial sales, then on, all of their GTA Online stuff that they're going to have.
So just doing the calculations. Thank you. GTA 6 has sold over 200 million copies at this point, right?
GTA 5.
Yeah, sorry, GTA 5, over 200 million copies. So if we just do, and I know that's been on a lot of sales, but if we just times that by 60, that's $12 billion right there. And that doesn't even count, and again, I know it's been on sale and stuff like that, so that's not quite accurate. But that doesn't even count the GTA Online stuff. So yeah, I could. That's an insane number to think about as a budget for a game, but I mean, we know it's gonna scoop it back up within like a week or something ridiculous. Like it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be an insane amount. It's gonna sell so many different like Xbox and PlayStation, and if it can run on Switch too, maybe, I don't know. It's gonna sell so many consoles. It's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this game is going to make up its budget within a week's time. I just think that this right here is the main problem with the industry, is that
oh yeah, for sure,
these games and
GTA can do it. We can do it. It's like, no, you can't.
No, you can't. No, because GTA has so many people working at their studios, and they have the freedom to take 10 plus years to make a sequel to Grand Theft Auto. And, many studios they don't have that freedom. They don't have that liberty to do that.
I mean, GTA 5's been on every generation since the 360 and PS3. Like that's
so stupid, right?
That's insane.
That's so and I even have a theory that like Xbox is going to start their new generation next year. I think they're going to.
That's what I would do if I was. I mean, I know the PlayStation's sales are down, but I think they're close to like 60 million, which isn't like bad or anything. But yeah, if I was Xbox, I would cut this generation out,
get rid of Series, get rid of
all that shit. Like I think the worst decision they ever made was like calling it not the Xbox 2. Like just they should have just done numbers. Like they're not Nintendo.
Xbox
like,
One
Nintendo does. Yeah, Nintendo does. Like they have their own thing. But I think it's dumb if they don't call it the Switch 2. Like if they call it anything but the Switch 2, I'm like, you should have just called it the Switch 2. But especially if it's going to be as iterative as it sounds and not like a revolutionary style thing. Yeah, Xbox One was a terrible name, terrible marketing. While looking back now, I was like, yeah, like the always online stuff, not a big deal nowadays. Like everything is that way all the time. Like nobody really people bitch about it, but
back then that was
but back then, yeah, absolutely not. And then even like as cool as like the Xbox Series is, it's a dumb name. It's confusing for the regular market, out there, the regular consumer that's not a hardcore follower of the video games industry, it's so confusing.
I mean, there were so many. I saw a story. There were so many negative reviews on Amazon for the Series S because people wanted to play Madden. What's the new Madden out? What's that one called? Or not
You talking
Madden.
about college football? EA's
Yeah,
college football?
EA college football. People picked up a
Copy of the game, didn't
1S.
realize. Yeah.
They picked up a 1S to play it, or they picked up a copy of the game and it said, it runs on Series S, and they thought it said 1S. And like that's like, I feel like that's marketing 101. Like, don't do something that's gonna confuse your customer. Like, don't do all the Series shit. Don't do all the 1S, 1X, 1 Series S, a series like that doesn't mean anything to anybody who's like a normal consumer of these things. Like,
I mean, you look at like, people are so used with like Apple and like the iPhone. Like, what's the new iPhone this year? The iPhone 15, iPhone 16. Like, it just, while it's boring, I get like the naming convention is so boring just to call something the next number. It just works. It just people
works.
are not smart, or they're just not in tune with various devices that they don't know what's next. So yeah, if you go to a store and like you said, there's the option for the 1S, the Series S, or the Series X. Which
Like,
one do I
what do I
pick?
buy?
Which one? The cheapest one, right? Or it's like the Series S. Like, yeah, I guess I'm assuming on the box it says all digital or maybe like that. So I don't know if some people were like they picked up the Series S because it was cheaper, and then they picked up the new game. They're like, it doesn't go in.
Game doesn't insert. What do I do?
Yeah, 1 star. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's like you said, marketing 101. Like, you just name it.
Yeah, and PlayStation nailed it. Like, people weren't calling the PlayStation 1 the PS1. They were just calling it the PlayStation. But when the PlayStation 2 came out, that acronym just flows, man. The PS2,
PS2.
PS3, PS4, PS5. It's so easy to follow. It's easy to know what comes next because you're just counting up.
Yeah.
And like, Nintendo's a little different because they've never followed that structure, and they're not trying to confuse their customer base. They have before with like the new 3DS type of stuff, but for the most part, they've been pretty good with their naming, where it's all like related to what the console does.
Yeah.
So it's it's been pretty good marketing on their part. But the Xbox,
and I would say even with Nintendo and like not having like a traditional like GameCube 2 or whatever, like their stuff is so different looking than the previous. Even like the Game Boy Advance to a Game Boy Advance SP, like it still has the Game Boy Advance in the title, but it's still so different that like it's not. I don't think it's something that you're gonna walk into a store and like be confused on like what the which one you should buy. Like it's pretty clear. With Xbox and like even with Xbox, it's like they all just look the same. Like the 1S and like the Series S look pretty similar.
right?
It's like it's so confusing. I just,
And the 1S looks more modern.
yeah,
Because of the Series S, you see the fan.
Yeah,
On
exactly.
it. So I don't know, man. They really screwed up.
I just think they need to like,
generations.
I don't know, man. Like just either call it go back to basics and just call it the Xbox, and then or like have like the Xbox and then have your Xbox like handheld or whatever. Because I think they're gonna do a handheld too. Scrap this generation. Sell what you're gonna sell through this year, and then jumpstart. Get on that GTA 6 train with your brand new console, the most powerful place to play GTA 6. Put that in your fucking marketing, and then you'll sell gangbusters.
Yeah. And a 5-year generation, like the Wii U did it. They were, what was it, 2012 to 2017?
Yeah.
Maybe 2011. I think it was 2012 to 2017. That was a shorter generation. Granted, the Wii U sold 15 million, so it was a failure, but I would consider the Series X and the Series S a failure. They sold probably less than 30 million units.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Half of what the PS5 sold.
Horrible.
That's a failure. I mean, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah, and you had the cheapest option on the market too with the Series S. Like,
Yeah, he came in
that
hot.
should have sold so much more than they have, and maybe that's why they sold so much. And just to get up to the 30 million number is because of the Series S. But yeah, their marketing team, I don't know what. I mean,
It's all
I feel like we
controllers.
say it like it's all controllers, but it's like every little misstep they have, it's like you either wait too long to say something because like reports get out there. It just sucks. Yeah,
Or it's
it's
just
horrible.
confusing. Like all of the Game Pass.
They still haven't said
options
have they
now.
still said anything officially other than like on their website, like and like on some random news part on Windows Central? Like, no.
I don't
It's
know.
still so confusing. We don't know what's coming day one. Well, we know it's coming day one, but we don't know how long people have to wait for it to come. And it's going to be, by the reports, it's going to be a case by case scenario, which is so stupid. It's
Case
so
by case
dumb.
is such a dumb, a dumb rule to follow with.
Either have it day one or don't. Is my opinion. But whatever. Yeah. Their whole marketing is just trash. But controllers.
But yeah, gotta sell those controllers. God,
yeah, it's frustrating.
I think they'll be third party by 2030.
Yeah, if this next generation doesn't go good, I think you're right. I think they'll get out of the console market, or maybe if maybe their handheld takes off or something like that could be cool. But yeah, it's just I don't know what like Xbox One was just the start of it all, and they just have not recovered.
Such a blemish. Just I played the crap out of my Xbox One.
I did too. Like, I've always enjoyed my systems, but it's just I don't know. It's just frustrating because you want them to be more competitive, just to make everybody else more competitive and make everything else better. And I don't know. I have no marketing experience in my life, and I'm like, I feel like I could do a better job. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And you have like right now is the perfect opportunity because like the PlayStation is struggling. Their multiplayer, the free to play incentive is like not necessarily panning out. Concord looks like it's going to be a DOA game, $40 game that you also got to pay, a monthly premium to actually play the multiplayer. So it's like that's a little weird. I don't know. Helldivers is a different story, but yeah,
that one's not doing great right now.
Yeah, I mean, people put their time into it. I mean, it's fine. Not every game like has to be a forever game. That's totally fine, and I think people are fine with that. But controllers,
but controllers, man, gotta sell those sweepstakes controllers. God,
I don't know. Yeah, $2 billion for GTA 6 seems crazy, but if GTA 6 can do it, they're the only ones that can do it.
They're the only ones. I don't want anyone else to have that kind of budget.
No. Yeah, everybody else needs to scale back a couple $100 million. And then
maybe
GTA
don't
6
get that A-lister. Don't get that B-lister in your game. Just make a good game. Focus on that.
Gameplay first. Gameplay first.
You don't even need a main character. Just make a game like Balatro.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that game was very successful.
I've got my physical edition coming next month. I'm pretty excited for that.
Oh, you do? Nice.
Yeah, it's got like the actual cards too. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Budgets are crazy. All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap up the show. We appreciate everyone watching, listening, all that good stuff. If you can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be just incredible. That would be great. much appreciated. Follow us over on Twitter. We'll spat out random tweets every once in a while. I did have Jeff Grubb like my one tweet last week. That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I talked about he cut his hair. I was like, what does this mean, Jeff? Metro Prime 2 incoming announcement drop, shadow drop. You had the team for
Cat Quest
like your tweet and meow at you earlier today. That was funny. So yeah, we're over there doing big stuff. Follow us on TikTok. I've been doing a lot of my some videos of my Dark Souls run right now.
Yeah, been loving seeing that.
Trying to make them entertaining. Yeah, we post quite a bit on TikTok. And then if you ever want to message the show, you can either email us or you can literally text the show any questions you guys have. And yeah, we'll be back next Monday. We'll probably maybe do some predictions for Gamescom. I don't know. Probably
Yeah.
don't have that much. We'll probably talk about it. Maybe some leaks or rumors will come out of that before then. So we'll see. We'll see.
No.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
And bye-bye. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.